My name is Robert JCD Harris for Brooklyn, New York. I'm here to tell my story about my life. Well, I'm currently HIV positive, but during my earlier years, coming up as a kid, my mother moved in with my brother's grandmother, and we lived with her for about a year and a half. In the process of me living with them, I was 8 years old, and I was raped by my brother's uncle and his cousin. I went through changes about my sexuality because of that. So in the interest of being in the lifestyle as far as being gay, I went through a confusion at 13 years old, and I was very confused whether I wanted to be with a man or a woman. But at 18, 17 and a half, I decided that I didn't know at the time just as well because I still was confused about being with a man or a woman. My first experience was with a man. My second experience was with a woman. But at 17 was my first relationship with a man. Things went rocky with me and him. He was older. I was 17. He was 29. But at 20 years old, I decided I was going to get married because he broke up with me and said he didn't want me anymore. So I decided to try to be married to a woman. That didn't work because I was confused about that. And I was more satisfied with being with a man. So I decided that I was going to be with a man again. So I got a divorce and I started dealing with men. At the age of 24, I moved from Detroit, Michigan back to Brooklyn, New York, where I currently was born. And I got a phone call one night that the guy that I was dealing with died, and he died from the virus. So I went and got tested, and I found out in 1991 that I was HIV positive. How I dealt with that is that I said I was not going to die, I was going to live. And I called my moms, I called my grandmother, and that was the worst day of my life because I had to tell them that I was positive. I dealt with it very good, but I had to actually get very intoxicated because I had to call them and let them know that I currently was HIV positive. How did I deal with it after that? Is I dealt with it, I lived. I didn't give up on life. I would like to share my story about how I would like to help the younger generation be able to deal with it because I went through that struggle. And I struggle still each and every day of dealing with it, but I never give up. I love life, I live life. And I want to just be able to reach out and show the younger generation that they can live and not harm themselves. 24 and a half, I met someone and we hooked up. Very good man. Very, very good man. Loved me to death. Relationship-wise, it was very good. We had our little ups and downs, whatever, but he was very good to me for 8 years until he passed away. Once he passed away, I decided to get my own place and moved out of his place and got my own place and lived in my place, and that was in 1997. I lived in that place until 1999 and then moved in with my best friend. My best friend and me got a place, and we stayed in that place until 2002, until we had to separate because we was two different individuals and we just did not get along, and we best friends. So to save the friendship, we got our own place, and he moved in one place and I moved in another. Then I stayed there for about a year and a half until I moved back to Detroit, Michigan.
4 minutes.